I'm early 30s, and I've never, ever told a single soul this. I lied. I had to. I was 12 years old, and I didn't know what to do. So I lied. There was no other way for me to do it. Hit subscribe if you're ready for more wild stories. That'll blow your mind. When I was 11, my mother put me into a mental institution. I was angry. Extremely angry. I was the atypical piece of shit asshole angry child that was always in trouble with police, and literally was always in trouble at school. By the time I was 11, I had 3 misdemeanors and 2 felonies. My felonies were arson and assault. I burned down a field hoping that would burn down an apartment building, and I attacked my teacher with a screwdriver, severely hurting her in the process. Looking back, all the trouble I caused my mother, all the suicide attempts, I don't know how she didn't just kill me. I tried to rip my throat out with a coat hanger, overdose on pills, slice my wrists. I was angry, and honestly, there wasn't anything that caused it. No abuse, no neglect, nothing. I grew up in a poor, single-parent household. My older brother and I were latchkey kids. We came home from school, and then we were alone for about 4 hours, until my mom came home. When I was institutionalized, I just broke. I became a monster. I had nothing to answer for, so I unleashed my rage on anyone and everyone. My first year, I spent a large majority of my time locked in the quiet room. Quiet rooms were rectangular rooms with rubber walls and floors. Basically, you could beat your head off the wall floor and not really hurt yourself. I think the longest stint I did locked into a QR was around 4 days straight. But I was in the QR at least half the week because of how angry I was. I stabbed employees with pencils, pens, attacked them randomly. My mood would shift instantly from gentle to raging. They would close down the floor, and it would take almost all the staff to hold me down and move me to a cur. When I was almost 13, they built a new building to house us all. I was the second person to be moved there. I would spend the next 3 years there. I forgot to mention that my days that weren't filled with QR time were filled with therapy. Individual therapy, then group therapy, then lunch, then individual, then group, etc. Throughout this time, the therapists and psychologists had tried to delve into me and find the cause of this anger. Was I sexually abused, beaten, neglected? I denied all and tried to honestly tell them that I was just angry. At one point, 2 years into it, I had basically been talked into a corner. Every day I was asked where I was lying, who abused me, where did they touch you? 2 years of this, and every day I told them the same thing. I started shutting down. I was currently on a room program. I was confined to a room 24 hours a day. This room had no windows, only one door. I had started with a dresser and a bed with a metal and wood bed frame, but because I had thrown the dresser drawers at employees and banged on the bed frame loudly, it was all taken away from me. I spent my day in an empty room, literally nothing, just 4 walls and a floor and me. They had stopped all my therapies, only allowing me to go to 1 individual a day. I took my meals in my room and was allowed a 15-minute shower once a day. After 6 months of not seeing the sun, not being allowed to talk to anyone, and just generally being crushed, I broke in therapy. One day I told my psychologist that I had sexually abused my brother, and that I had done that because I had been sexually abused myself. When asked who abused me, I told her that I used to sneak out of the house late at night, meet a group of people at the grocery store 2 blocks down, and go with them to parties where people took drugs, and I had happened to have been abused a couple times. Thinking back, I have no idea why I said it, but at the time it made sense. What happened next was, I think, worse than the previous 2 years. My mother and brother were brought into counseling, and I had to reveal, in front of my mother, what I said to the psychologist. My brother, who has cerebral palsy and is slightly mentally handicapped, couldn't argue against it because he has no long-term memory. I apologize for my shitty wording of this. I feel like I haven't spoken in 18 years, and I'm trying to remember. What words go where. What followed was possibly the worst 2 years of my life. My story grew as it had to. Daily therapies and constant questions pushed me to the point that I confessed to having multiple personalities. I had MPD for almost 2 years, and I remember one magical evening where we had a 4-hour-long therapy session and 2 of the personalities left us. My mother and my brother, who I loved, didn't speak to me or see me for 2 years. No cards, no calls, nothing. I was alone. I lied because I had to. The pressure got to me and I did it. No one knows. My entire family thinks that I sexually abused my brother. When I finally got out for the next 10 years, every time I was around my nieces or nephews, the looks I got, I feel almost empty. I don't want to read this again, so sorry if there's any misspellings or you don't understand something.